Hello, artist. The first thing that you need to do is to save the file I sent you via email to your Chromebook. And then we are going to be putting that image onto Sketchpad 5.1. And how we're going to do this is we'll get on 5.1 and you're going to hit export, find your file, and open it. And then if it comes out it's some really big size like mine did, you can hit the magnifying tool and shrink it down to the right size. And if it's not in the correct place, then you can click on the arrow tool and slide it into the position where it is best visible for you and a size that you can work with. Sometimes you have to make it bigger or smaller, but right now let's just get a place where you like it. And then we are going to find the right tool. As you see, there's a whole bunch of tools we can use, but we're going to use the fill tool. And because we want to fill each of these little spaces. Now you have choices between your vector fill and pixel fill, but right now we're going to try pixel fill. I think you can use either one, but we're going to use the pixel fill, and you will be able to adjust it off and on to get it just right. Now I've picked red first, and that's how I'm going to adjust the tolerance, and that will see how much of the space it's going to fill. Now be sure and you hit multiply. Did you see me hit that? Because I forgot to point it out. Right there you want to hit multiply, and so that it will make a copy of your image, and you're kind of painting under that image. So that's one of your layers. Anyway, that I am going through and I'm selecting the colors that I want, and I found that if you drop the color intensity down about 50%, that's how you can blend your colors, because everywhere the blue and the red cross, I want it to kind of be a purple color. Now look, this is your design. Everybody's design is different, so you're going to have a lot of fun with it, but this is just to give you ideas if you have two colors that intersect and you want to mix the colors. What I did is I just dropped the intensity down, and I have examples where I dropped it 25%, 50%, or 75% to see what color I want it to be. Now, if you're just coloring straight up color, changing out your colors, then you won't have that problem. Now, when you are putting your colors down on your mandala, this assignment, I am requiring you to keep your colors the same. So we want the radial balance, which means everything's going to be the same all the way around it. Now I know you're going to be tempted to color different colors, and that is not this assignment. If you're doing something you want to do on your own, that's fine, and you can do that for extra credit. But if you're doing it to be turned in for this assignment, you're going to keep your colors all the way around consistent. And you know what consistent means? All the same. So now I am going through adding the blues. Now I will tell you, in this areas where my tolerance wasn't high enough, you just adjust that tolerance to fill in that space, because you may get a little grainy places. And most of that is due to just a haze that's around the black line to the white line. You may get a little bit of a haze. So on this assignment, you are to, it's going to take me a minute to get all these filled in. You may have some delay, especially with our internet being as slow as it is, and it's going to take you a lot longer. Sorry, I'm taking this time right now because I'm messing with the colors to see what color I want to use. Now, you can undo if you don't like the colors that you have. You can go back and hit that, which I had to do at some point, and then I came back and just filled it in with the blue. So if you don't like what you did, be sure you hit the undo button. And also I'll be showing you something a little bit later, how you can just go through and delete a color that you had previously put on there. So now I'm going to the yellow. Now the yellow for me was tricky because I wanted that centerpiece to be a certain color, and I noticed it was not changing the color because the yellow over the red was just too intense. So I had to do something creative. And like I said, if you're not doing the overlay and you're trying to keep that color like a blend, you can just move on past this. But it was a little bit tricky, once again, going back and adjusting the intensity of my color by changing its opacity. And that means how opaque it is. And opaque means solid. So I'm making it more translucent. Now that's something we don't talk about in this class. Probably should have talked about it at this point. But translucent means you can see through it, but you still see the color. You know, like my example here where I have it at 50%, that's translucent. So your yellow and red would show because they're translucent. And then opaque, of course, be solid, which blocked it all off. Now here's this part I was telling you. Hang on. Jump to this. This is where I was telling you I was deleting color. So I went back into my layers, and there's a bazillion layers, by the way. So you highlight the area that you want to delete, and then you have to go find it. And then you click on the three little dots, and you pick the delete option. And you see I've taken, now every single one of these has two colors on it. You can also move the colors out of the way. I just did a quick example of that. So you can go through, and every color had two, yellow and red. So I had twice I had to delete. So now I'm back to my white. And I'm decided I'm going to just try mixing my yellow with my red to create a, I don't know why I've got purple up right now, but to create a 50% orange. So I did that. Now I'm going to go in and fill in my purple because I am keeping this the color rule colors of the primary and secondary colors only. And I'm picking up my green. I've already got my red and primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue, and I've added my orange and purple, and now I want to come in with some green. Now on this, it was so small that I wanted, sorry, my dog barked. I really couldn't see what I was doing, so I took a break here, and I'm going to zoom in so I can see it better. And that way I can click on these really small areas. So I did that, so I could do that in green. Not really loving that green as much, but I think it was a good choice. Now you can also add text by clicking on the text option. And in this case, my text was right size, which you can make adjustments to it, and make sure you go back and you find that layer, go back to layers, and that way you can move it. That isolates just the text, and you can move it because I clicked on something else and it was no longer isolated. So now you're going to save it. So you go to your save button and save it as a JPEG back onto your Chromebook and put a name on it, and you're done. And that's it. Of course, it's going to take you a while to color it, but enjoy.